This may well be Satan's most ingenious scheme for undermining the belief in the sufficiency of God's Word.
That sneaky devil Satan.
Turn them over to Satan.
Satan's been around. Satan's got a plan.
Modern Satanism.
Satan's been around. Satan's got a plan.
Modern Satanism.
Satan's.
Let's join it.
Satan's.
Let's join it.
Satan's.
Let's join it.
Satan's been around. Satan's got a plan.
Let's join it.
Satan is the greatest.
Satan's got a plan. Satan's got a plan.
Satan is the greatest.
It has Satanism and its mind.
A Satanist priest.
Let's join it.
Yes, join me. Satan's got a plan. Satan's been around. I like that intro. You didn't like it? Fuck off. I'm just kidding. I may go to hell. My name's Reap, and I am going to be your host for the next period of time. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. I am a priest with the Satanic Temple, and although I'm a priest with the Satanic Temple, the opinions expressed here do not necessarily reflect those of the Satanic Temple. Not necessarily, he said. Let me see. What am I gonna talk about here? A couple things are bothering me. The first one is why do you call yourself Satanist, or what makes you a Satanist? And I've heard it over and over and over and over again. It's like people are just too, I don't know. I don't want to say stupid, but they're being dumb. They can't understand the concept. I can maybe understand a little ignorance at first, but it should be easy to grasp. And Doug Mesner has written an excellent article, if I can find it. Recently closed tabs. Let me see it there. Oh, there it is. It's an article called Letters to Satan, Why Do You Call Yourself Satanist? And you can find that on the metrotimes.com site under Arts and Culture, dated September 24th, where he explains how religion doesn't have to be entwined with superstition or supernatural beliefs. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson tried to rewrite the Bible without the superstition included? Yeah, that's right. Are you people in Oklahoma listening? It's really frustrating the way people can't grasp the concept. I mean, a person can pretty much call themselves whatever they want, unless you've got some blatant proof or blatant, obvious way of contradicting what they've said. You know, I can say that I'm a cat, and you can pretty much prove that I'm not a cat, because I don't have a tail, and people don't call me pussy. Those would be the two major ways you could tell that I'm not a cat. But I can call myself a Satanist, and you can't prove I'm not, because I am, as far as I'm concerned. Do you get how that works? Okay, good. Don't make me explain it to you again. I'm sorry, the article was by Lucian Greaves, my mistake. I get those two guys mixed up all the time. Talk about confusing. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the Founding Fathers a little bit, because I've heard a couple Satanists say that they weren't religious and their fucking Founding Fathers were Christians, and even the Satanists that are correcting the people about the country being founded on Christian beliefs are not getting it right. It's not that the Founding Fathers weren't religious at all. It's not the way it is. The Founding Fathers were a majority of them were deists. Okay, deism is a belief in a God that you can only know through nature, and who does not have anything to do with the day-to-day life that we live. There's no miracles, there's no supernatural bullshit. Nobody walked on water, nobody fucking made water into wine, nobody sent their son down to kill himself for whatever fuck, for everybody else's fuck-ups. Nothing like that. They don't believe in anything like that. Some of them believe themselves to be true Christians because they believe true Christianity was Christianity without any supernatural, without the supernatural bullshit. Okay, and the majority of the people who think this was a Christian nation founded on Christian beliefs do not have any fucking idea what the hell they're talking about. They need to read a little bit. That's all they need to do. I know a little bit about deism because my father's a deist. When I called him an atheist one time, I got pissed. And deists rejected atheism, the majority of them. They didn't like it, even though they were called atheists by more traditional Christians. Because if you didn't believe the way, it's just like today. If you didn't believe everything they believed, you were the opposite of that. You know, they're so rigid and so annoying. Deism. is the belief that reason and observation of the natural world are sufficient to determine the existence of a creator, accompanied with the rejection of authority as a source of religious knowledge. Deism gained prominence in the 17th and 18th centuries during the Age of Enlightenment, especially in Britain, France, and Germany. In the United States, among intellectuals raised as Christians who believed in one God but found fault with organized religion and did not believe in supernatural events such as miracles and the Trinity. Deism is formed from deus, the Latin word for God. Deistic ideas influenced several leaders of the American and French revolutions. Two main forms of deism currently exist: classical deism and modern deism. And fucking A, how hard is it to read? Really? Oklahoma people, how hard is it to read? Really? Really? The concept of deism covers a wide variety of positions on a wide variety of religious issues. Let me see. Sir Leslie Stephen describes three features constituting the core of deism: rejection of religions based on books that claim to contain the revealed word of God, rejection of religious dogma and demagogy, skepticism of reports of miracles, prophecies, and religious quote-unquote mysteries. So suck it. All right? It's not hard. You know, this is on the internet. The internet has a lot of shit on it, a lot of stuff that would be beneficial to some people to read. And for you Satanists who aren't familiar with this, I suggest you read too, because, like it or not, no one's immune to stupidity and ignorance, unfortunately, myself included, although I have kept it to a minimum, an amazingly small minimum, along with my humility. So I hope that clears a couple things up. I also learned that you don't want to call a deist an atheist because they get pissed, especially if you're related to them. There's a little insight for you. On this podcast, I have, let me see, the guy who's going to be leading the next chapter of the Satanic Temple in Austin, Hunter Friedrichsen. I hope I said his name right. And, what else do I have? A little marked dice. You guys like to gamble? You know what marked dice are? They're cheating. Bad news. But if your name's Mark Dice, then you're still bad news. Monika Gottendaughter is back with another recommended reading portion or segment. And unfortunately, it's going to be the last one she could do for a while. So enjoy it while it lasts. And I'd like to thank Monika for taking the time to do the work she has done for the podcast. I appreciate it greatly. And I hope that she finds time in the future to help out again, because she's been very, very helpful. The guys from the Eagle's Nest are going to give us some more insight into what is evil, what has influenced our children back in the 80s that really had no effect on us, turns out. So, in retrospect, they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, but it's good for laughs. And I have some news about the Oklahoma State Capitol and the Ten Commandments and the lawsuit against them, so you'll want to hear that. And other news, which I can't tell you what it is right now because I don't know. You'll find out when I find out. And at the end of the show, I've got a little bit of I want to say comedy. Satan does stand-up sometimes, and it's my pleasure to bring you a recording of his latest appearance or performance. You've got to keep your sense of humor with you, though. Okay? Promise? Okay, good. Are you lying? All right. Without further ado or blabbering, let's get the podcast started, shall we? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
An angel. What's your name? Satan. What's the matter? Nothing.
A Santa Fe inmate has filed a lawsuit against the Southern New Mexico Correctional Facility for unfairly discriminating against his religious beliefs. Those beliefs? Satanism, yes. Bernard Pritchard believes he's being discriminated against because he's a Satanist. The facility provides services for people of other faiths, including places to pray and read relevant religious material. In fact, here's how broadly they accommodate religious beliefs. Any practitioners of Astru or Odinism are allowed to have replicas of Thor's hammer. In a lawsuit first reported by the Santa Fe Reporter Tuesday, Bernard Pritchard says the chaplain and deputy warden at the Southern New Mexico Correctional Facility in Las Cruces treated his faith differently than others. Defendants denied plaintiff a reasonable opportunity of pursuing his faith comparable to the opportunity afforded to fellow prisoners who adhere to conventional religious precepts, wrote Pritchard in the lawsuit, which he filed pro se. Pritchard, serving time on aggravated stalking charges, was convicted in 2013 and transferred to the state's facility in Grants in May and filed the lawsuit in early September. He's asking a judge to force the Mexico Correctional Department to let him worship Satan more freely, and he wants $140,000 in damages. The lawsuit doesn't spell out specifically how Pritchard believes his rights were violated or what he was prevented from doing by prison officials. Might want to get that sorted out. The New Mexico Correctional Department declined comment on the lawsuit, but a top official tells News 13 the department does its best to safely accommodate every inmate's religious beliefs. They have been given a right to practice those faiths, and we want to make sure that we are respectful of their rights, said Anthony Romero, Deputy Director of Adult Prisons with the New Mexico Correctional Department. That includes working around dietary considerations and allowing inmates to skip work on holy days. There are even sweat lodges built outside of some prison facilities to accommodate Native American religious beliefs. New Mexico Corrections policy includes guidelines for 19 different religious groups, in many cases very specific guidelines. For example, Roman Catholic priests are limited to bringing up to 3 ounces of wine for communion behind bars, and that wine is for the priest's consumption only. How convenient. Inmates practicing Astaru or Odinism, a Norse-based religion, are allowed to have a Thor's hammer up to 12 inches constructed of strong cardboard. But Satanism is the only religion in the guidelines without specifics. Its entry says holy days, worship practices, and allowable religious items are subject to security and safety considerations. McCoy with the ACLU of New Mexico says there are constitutional protections for religious practice, but the law, when it comes to inmates, is complicated and nuanced. In certain contexts, such as a correctional facility, there has to be some restrictions on inmate behavior, McCoy said. There are from time to time issues that might come up with security concerns, Romero acknowledged. It is unclear if that was the case with Pritchard, since he didn't specify what he was being prevented from doing, which he should have done. Why didn't he do that? He should think that through. Let me see. I'm looking at the comments. They're asking whether he's LaVeyan or theistic or LaVeyan Satanism. Let me see. Oh, boo-hoo. Who cares? Sometimes I feel inmates should not be allowed to sue anyone. They go into prison. You have no rights, period. That is obviously coming from someone who is very dumb. I don't know if there's any case where someone should lose all of their rights whatsoever. Have no rights at all. Can't really think of one. One of these days I need to do a show on evil and whether there's such a thing as evil. If you have any opinions on that, you might want to share them with me. You can contact me on the contact page at modernsatanism.net if you have any thoughts about evil and the concept of evil. I have my own thoughts on it, but I'd be curious to hear some of yours. Feel free to share them. Next up. You are listening to the Modern Satanism Podcast. First of all, you need to introduce yourself. So I know who I'm talking to.
All right. My name's Hunter Friedrichsen. I am the new chapter head of the new up-and-coming Austin TST chapter.
Ooh. That's following the Detroit one, right? Detroit one.
Absolutely, following Detroit.
Yeah. And I'm planning on having Jex on the show sometime, but she's busy, so...
Yeah, I can imagine. Looks like they're doing a lot of work up there. I mean, just keeping an eye on their website and on their Facebook page. I mean, it seems like a lot's getting accomplished in a fairly short amount of time. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah.
So, have you started? I mean, you have a group already in Austin, or are you together? Or?
You know, I've got my roommate who is also a Temple member. He's going to be like the two of us are going to be working in tandem, like putting this thing together. I've got a pretty good amount of experience doing like canvassing and I was an outreach coordinator for a political party. I worked at that for a couple of years.
Nice.
So I've got like a good, kind of grasp on like the strategies I'm going to use to like try and build the organization and kind of get it up off the ground into an actual like group where we can meet on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So yeah, like hopefully as soon as we get our branch building materials and stuff like that, I'll have a little bit more a little bit more to work with, proper pictures.
You got a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. A plan.
Got the plan.
Are you a member of any atheist groups now in Austin? Or?
No, I'm not. I actually was doing this little atheist Bible study for a little bit, but it didn't really, not very many people were interested in it, and it just, I don't know, I think it really lacked, like, any real direction. I mean, it wasn't fun. Like,
Yeah, well, that's why it was one of the marks against it, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, but not fun.
Yeah.
And this temple project, I don't know about that. I mean, it's just, it seems like it's got like a really, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's got like a really, steady azimuth, kind of pointed at tackling some of the
issues.
Some of those issues that are coming up a lot more frequently these days with the, the religious establishment trying to impose their will on, everybody pretty much, females.
You think it's because they're feeling like the death throes religion? You think that's why it seems like lately they've been more aggressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, I do think that. Like, I do think that they can feel, that science is fucking, and reason and rationality and free inquiry are all things that are closing in on them rapidly. They're losing a lot of footing. They're losing, all the millennials are fucking, not all the millennials, but like a huge deal of them are becoming atheists or like agnostics, breaking away from the,
not going to church, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just politically, like the huge amount of freaking damage that's been, that's been happening. The spotlight's really been on, a lot of these like religious politicians and Pat Robertsons that just can't stop putting their fucking feet in their fucking mouth. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Gotta love your Pat.
Oh my God, yeah.
I gotta love him for the fodder.
And so, I do think that there's a little bit of a panic, a little bit of a death agony going on there. But because of that, they're kind of like death row fucking, whatever, like trying to like impose their shit on us. Their 10 Commandments statues, and I mean, they're just trying to fucking, it's like a sinking ship or something. They're just trying to swing at the, swing at their, as they go down, and
trying to grab our legs.
Yeah, just trying to rep these, these like, like the 10 Commandments thing and stuff like that, and it's just, I don't know.
Hey, did you know that 10 Commandments? Do you know that 10 Commandments statue monument was misspelled in a couple places when they put it up?
Yeah, I think I saw that. It's not
amazing.
still.
They put it up anyways with the spelling errors. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, first of all, why would you catch the spelling errors before, and if you didn't, I mean, what the hell are you doing? And then why would you put it up with the errors? Why wouldn't you get it fixed and then install it?
Probably not a whole lot of emphasis on literacy,
Or intelligence, or fucking stupidity seems to be.
Yeah. And people, and they're just fucking, just desperately trampling our rights.
It's not even the 10 Commandments, really. It's like their own version of it, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Funk.
Like, it's hard to imagine, like, a more fucked up version than what's even in the Bible.
This one is kind of cheesier. I wouldn't say more fucked up, but cheesier. If you read it. They're not exactly the 10 Commandments, but it's, yeah. A lot of stuff about not screwing with your neighbor. Or his wife, or his maid, or whatever. Must be a problem in Oklahoma.
Right. It'll be so interesting to see. I think everybody is just counting down. Just holding their breath until our statue gets put there. Everybody's excited to see what's going to happen. We know there's going to be backlash. What's it going to look like? I think there's a lot of tension over that right now, and a lot of people, on both sides that are really have their eye on this thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man. I just can't see Oklahoma letting that statue get put up. I just can't see them letting it happen.
What do you mean, like legally? Or do you mean
I can imagine they'd probably take the 10 Commandments down or move it,
before they put that Baphomet statue up.
Yeah, I mean, and then the whole risk of it getting sabotaged, which is, it feels like it's almost a matter of kind of when.
Yeah, well, considering the letters they've been getting, they're kind of counting on it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love in the last Modern Satanism podcast, the bit where you had all the callers calling in and trying to articulate, or trying to vote against.
I know. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's weird.
The Satanist monument, the what? Just
I don't even know what they're voting against.
People weren't exactly sure what was going on.
Yeah.
They knew it was something, evil.
All I know is it has to do with Satan, and I don't like it.
Yeah, Beelzebub. Hell no.
This can't be right. Totally uneducated on the subject. All I know is I don't like it. It has to do with Satan. Not me good. Thanks for your vote. Informed voter.
Exactly. That's not even really a vote.
Yeah, it's not even really a vote, and you're not really informed.
One thing that just really just fucking pissed me off, dude. The other day, I was reading Bristol Palin's blog.
Oh God, I'm a big fan.
And she's got one there. She's trying to convince people of the need to proselytize, people with intellectual disabilities. And, I can't even fucking even have anything intelligent to say about that. Like, what do you say?
Neither is she. Why are you reading Bristol Palin's blog?
Because I have an obsession with, the same reason I watch Mark Dyson's videos.
I was gonna say, you have to hit yourself with a hammer in the head every once in a while too.
Yeah, well, they're completely fucking disastrous. Yeah. I have a sense of humor, and I think everything's funny in a really fucking kind of critical and mean way.
Yeah.
I think that, those people, it fucking literally, it makes my day brighter. Like, I can sit back and fucking journey into Glenbeckistan and just watch whatever weird right-wing fucking, channel I find on YouTube of the day and just fucking, laugh my balls off.
Yeah.
The whole fucking Illuminati freak out. And
what is his name? Mark Dice? He's a fucking idiot.
Dude, he's a fucking racist motherfucker. Everybody knows it, man.
What's up with him calling us bigots?
Dude,
what's up with that? I'm gonna try and get him on the show. I don't know if he'll come on or not, but I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear him explain some of the things he said about the Satanic Temple for sure, and clarify it. Because that's crazy.
I just love listening to make believe, Fucking
that dude is off the hook. I was watching a video of his the other day. It was about the Statue of Liberty being satanic.
Oh God.
Oh man. I got a stretch. And the thing about that dude, about Mark Dice, is he fucking repeats the same shit over and over and over. He'll do like a fucking half an hour just babbling about the same 4 sentences over and over and over, and they're changed around in different order and just switching the words around, but it's like the four same sentences he uses through the whole thing. It's like, dude.
Yeah, right.
Really?
I can't tell exactly what his angle is. If he's just trying to be
his angle is
fucking alarmist, or if he's just, of course, selling books. That's a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah, what I don't get is nobody ever tells me when I watch this Illuminati bullshit, they never say, what is the fucking point today? Why would they do this? I mean, and he says that the Statue of Liberty is just like somebody who likes, somebody who likes sports, having a fucking blah, blah, blah car, it's not, or having somebody who likes to race cars, having a race car trophy, or something. It's not the same thing, you idiot. I mean, you're talking about a significant amount of, work put into this kind of shit. To what end? People are just wasting their motherfucking time so they can put an eyeball on something, or that they can hide. And most of it's hidden shit that nobody even fucking knows about. Why would you go to such extremes to hide something just to have it there, just for the fuck of it? It's not like it's mind control. It doesn't do anything.
And he picks the most innocuous fucking products to try and pump his propaganda out there. like fucking Hormel Black Label bacon. Oh my God, there's a fucking triangle where the cursive.
Yeah, oh my God, that's the Illuminati symbol. Oh no. So what's gonna happen? Is bacon,
fucking all over it.
Is bacon gonna jump up off your plate and start stabbing you in the eye? No, it's not. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing comes from it. No, who the fuck cares, really? I don't give a fuck what they can put a big dick on the front of it for all I care. If it's good bacon, it's good bacon. If it's not, then it's not. But nobody, I don't give a fuck.
And he just bitches and bitches about this dumbing down of society, wake up people. And like few people fucking perpetuate the, this, fucking culture of conspiracy theories and just, wacko fucking thinking more than this guy. I mean, he's quite fucking accomplished.
I love the way he goes, the Satanic Temple. I can't wait to ask him why. And Mark Dice, why do you talk like that? You sound like an idiot when you do that. That the Satanic Temple. It's like, fucking shut up, dude. You really sound like a fucking moron. I feel, I'm embarrassed for him sometimes.
I know. But you know what? Then I like to be embarrassed for him, but then I stop and I realize, this is all fucking about me. He's happy as a fucking clown right now. Like, why should I even fucking feel bad for how stupid he is?
He's a jack off. Yeah, if ignorance is bliss, he's multi-orgasmic. For sure. I was listening to about 3 or 4 of his videos so far, and there's if he doesn't come on the show, I'm going to just do an interview with him myself. I'll make it up myself and have him answer from him. Yeah, audio. He's doing an interview with me one way or another.
yeah, right. Whether he has control over
whether he has to be there for it or not. He's doing the fucking interview. There's all there to it. So, how long have you been a Satanist, or consider yourself a Satanist?
Not that long. Dude, I'm talking 6 months, I don't know that much about Satanism. I've only, in the past few months begun, reading about it and really, coming to kind of recognize some of the, the literary examples of what Satan is and what Satan, the symbology of Satan really means to people and has meant to people, and what it can be used as a metaphor for. I actually, pretty far, left-wing leaning political person, and I really, the part of, Satan that appeals to me the most is the revolutionary, aspect, the willingness to challenge the status quo and
adversarial.
Yeah, exactly. So,
which I hear a lot of people refer to as negative. The adversary is if it's negative, it's all subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And so I went from, so early on, so I was born and raised kind of, the whole right-wing Christian, joined the army, blah, blah, blah. Thought I was going to fight for our country and preserve the American way of life, Anyways, and I quickly realized that's all fucking full of shit. I mean, one day I find myself fucking holding a machine gun in Iraq with my thumb up my ass saying, why am I really here? Because I sure don't seem to be helping anybody. And, then that's when the questions really started coming along in my mind. And I started really, learning to challenge what I've been brought up to believe in and starting to, kind of dismantle the worldview that I was kind of, raised with having around me. And so, of course, I went from then to start reading all your Dawkins, Sam Harris, everybody like that. All your kind of new atheist guys. And then I realized how fucking, how fooled I'd been through the most of my life. And that hurt me, and it makes me angry, that I feel like somebody got me, and I didn't recognize it, and I just kept letting them fucking pull my leg, and and then, you get kind of cornered in that little space where the walls are closing in around you, and then you're like, well, I just gotta have more fucking faith and be more ignorant of everything, and so, finally after it all kind of fell apart, and I, just became fucking total atheist. I don't know, I was just left kind of a kind of an angry person. I felt kind of a mission or like a moral obligation to actually go out there and fucking, try and fucking fight this bullshit.
Make things right.
It's fucking emotionally traumatic. I mean, there's quite a bit of like cool research that's come out lately, like people studying like the actual trauma people that are taught, like just mainstream Americans are taught, they teach their kids like Christianity and but it's this whole culture of fear, and they're just trying to.
You're gonna burn in hell, Billy, because you didn't put away your toys,
Yeah, exactly. All stick, very little carrot, and it makes people fucking afraid of everything. Like I was fucking afraid of everything. Jeez, I was a fucking scaredy cat. Like, and I lived my whole like existence being this like really fear-based life, and then having to feel like guilty or whatever, or if I wanted to go out and party and like get drunk, whatever. Feeling like I was just like a shitbag, and just for being myself. So it's this cycle of fucking beating up yourself.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks when you made it feel like you made you feel like you're less of something by doing when you do things that are natural to you that you naturally want to do.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like a thing with me. In my life, like I have this desire to like go out there and fucking not let people get away with that shit. Like I don't want fucking like if I can save a few people from fucking having to be brought up that way and having to be down on themselves and struggling emotionally for years and years from the fallout of that, then I goddamn it, I want to do whatever I can, and I want to get out there and spread my version of the truth, which is the fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye version of the fucking truth,
Scientists. Science.
Yeah.
Science. Good old science. You know what Richard Dawkins says about religion is that it was humanity's first attempt at science.
I can kind of believe that.
Yeah, kind of like that.
And some people might argue that it was kind of the classist thing, that it was more of a originated more as a like social control mechanism.
I think it turned into that. I think it originated as a way to explain the Earth and the way things around us.
Right, help people cope with the fear of death.
Well, not just that, but just to understand what the fuck's going on and why. When there's earthquakes, or why the sun came up and went down, why it was cold in the winter and warm in the summer. That is the.
Well, in the Greeks, in the Greek stories of the constellations and the cosmos, I mean, those are some of that shit's ridiculous. I mean, like about beasts battling, and then that's how those stars and
that's exactly right.
Do each other up and battle, and so that's gonna be the only reason why those fucking
that was science back in those days, though.
Soon, the devil, Satan, appeared.
And we'll get back to the conversation I had with Hunter in a moment. First, we're going to hear some recommended reading from Monika Gottendaughter on modern Satanism.
Welcome back to another book talk segment on the Modern Satanism podcast. I'm Monika, your friendly neighborhood satanic librarian, if there ever was such a thing. This may be my last book segment for a while, so I'll provide some more top-notch books and a recap of everything else in case you haven't heard the previous podcasts yet. First off is, of course, a classic, Paradise Lost by John Milton. This mid-17th century poem follows Satan from the point he's cast from heaven and onward. He gathers a force of loyal demons to watch over hell for him as he ventures forth to discover Earth and Adam and Eve. He ruffles quite a few feathers with other archangels who are tasked with watching over Eden. The poem is split into chapters, and different versions of it come with or without illustrations. Depending on the version, you can expect to read between 200 and 370 pages. In the 1800s, Gustave Doré produced a series of illustrations for Paradise Lost, so if you're an art enthusiast, I would recommend tracking down an illustrated version. I have an 1875 illustrated copy in my collection, and I must say that the illustrations really bring the poem to life. Next is something a little different and much shorter. Everyone has no doubt heard of Mark Twain, but not necessarily his Letters from the Earth. Published decades after his death, Letters from the Earth reveals his cynical atheism that developed as he aged. Twain takes up the role of Satan and writes a series of letters criticizing God's backwardness and hypocrisy. It's only about 60 pages long, so I don't want to give away too much. But if you never read Twain's work before, this will be one hell of a treat. Some versions date back to the 1960s, but it only gained popularity in literary circles about a year or two ago. I'll end this list with something really dense that has some historical significance, the Malleus Maleficarum. Heinrich Kramer and James Springer wrote up this treatise on witchcraft in the 1480s. The tome explains what does and does not constitute witchcraft, and provides instructions on how to hunt and destroy witches. It can be pretty boring at times, so you may want to pace yourself reading it. One of the most popular versions is about 280 pages long, with a lengthy introduction that I think is best left unread. So, to recap, I'll go over the previous books I've recommended. Christopher Marlowe's Tragical History of Dr. Faustus, William Blake's Marriage of Heaven and Hell, C.S. Lewis's Screwtape Letters, George Karl Huysmans' Là-Bas, Anatole France's Revolt of the Angels, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust, and Richard Dawkins' God Delusion. Recently, I've gotten requests for advice on how to find all of these books and more, and as a historian who works in a library, I'm pretty sure I can help. Of course, I recommend going to booksellers like Amazon and Biblio.com, but that's not particularly helpful for anyone with a pretty low budget for books. If you're looking to get books for free or in ebook form, check out Project Gutenberg at gutenberg.org. Gutenberg provides a lot of public domain works for free and in many formats to boot. You can download ebooks or copy and paste plain text into your word processor of choice so you can print off whatever you want. I also recommend checking out your local public libraries. If you're a bit intimidated by card catalogs and all those weird numbers on the sides of books, ask a librarian for help. Most of us hold at least a bachelor's degree in a research-heavy field, so we can help find anything or source it if it's not already available. Beyond public libraries, most university libraries are open to the public and even offer library cards if you can provide photo ID or some proof of state residency. My university's library has an online card catalog available to everyone, so books can be searched for before you even step foot in the library proper. Some libraries even have ebooks available for download, so if you're one of those dirty anti-paper heathens, libraries still have something for you. If you're on the hunt for books, even really weird or rare types, they're out there. And there are plenty of resources for finding just what you want. I'd like to shout out to everyone who's messaged me about the book segments, and thank you for your enthusiasm and kind words. Hopefully, I'll have some time over my winter break for more excellent satanic literature. But until then, thanks so much for listening, and keep your ears tuned into the Modern Satanism podcast.
And that was Monika Gottendaughter, your friendly neighborhood satanic librarian, which is quite a title. And now we'll get back to the conversation I had with Hunter from the Austin chapter of the Satanic Temple.
You're listening to Modern Satanism.
So a couple of the things that I was playing with the idea with, and again, this is going to depend heavily on what our branch wants to do. As soon as this week, I'm going to start canvassing and like really doing some, getting our name out there and making some contacts. And so of course, what we do ultimately, like what campaigns we choose to undertake as a branch are going to, be up to the members. But two of my ideas were to do, like videotaping the police. Like there are a few organizations around here, Cop Watch, Citizens United Against Police Brutality or something like that. Yeah. And then, there's a few other ones that, it's hoping to have us jump on board with. And I think that's like a good way to like go out there and do a huge service to the community by protecting people with these cameras. If exposing police brutality for what it is and
yeah, it makes me nervous how much cops don't like people videotaping them.
Oh, you think?
That's a strange thing, man.
Yeah. It is strange. Well, but then again, I mean, it's a simple fucking answer. Because they fucking beat the shit out of people and don't want to...
Yeah, they've got... I hear they're starting to put cameras on the cops. Cops are actually carrying cameras.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. And who knows how good that is, because, like...
Well, it's better than nothing,
It is better than nothing. But, now the excuse is... they're going in there and, like, unplugging their wire or doing whatever and saying...
Yeah, but that's obvious, though, when they do that.
Yeah, but...
I mean, they're not outright busted, but when you see that kind of shit going on, that's not good. It's not going to look good on them. So they're going to try and avoid that, I would think. You know what I mean? Whereas, the camera, I'm going to unplug it here, and we got obviously a situation where you want the camera on and it gets unplugged. There's something up with that.
But I think it would be good. I think it would be good for people to help them get out and engage with the community and to, just kind of be out there doing something active.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons that people do get involved with like religious organizations in the first place, I mean, isn't just because, the community in the sense of belonging, but it's the fact that they want to get out there and be of, some kind of service to the general public and make the community a better place, in which to live. And I think that's certainly a way that we can do that. And it also, is pretty congruent with like the tenets of our organization, and the, inviolability of the human body and the, just kind of the whole idea of that arbitrary fucking authority that the police represent and hold over people.
Hey, have you heard about the AHH? Atheists Helping the Homeless organization?
Oh, I have. I think so. Yeah, and things that give us some amount of visibility are going to be, tremendous help to growing the organization, really getting our names out there and having some exposure. Who are Satanists? Who are these people that are around us? What are they doing? What do they believe in? Everyone's kind of curious right now. I mean, there's so much misinformation flying around that it'll be great to actually get out there and dispel some of those rumors and prove that we actually don't eat babies. We actually do care about our fellow human beings, regardless of or whatever their creed is or whatever. And another thing that I was kind of like toying around with my mind that I think also lines up pretty well with our tenets is the Death with Dignity Act.
Yeah.
I think that's another good maybe like a potential campaign for us to get our hands into.
We'll just we'll wrap this up and you can give your email address or whatever contact you have. Or
yeah, I can be reached on email at hunter.friedrichsen@gmail.com. That's hunter.friedrichsen@gmail.com.
I would have never spelled that right. Not in a million years.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, hey, thank you so much. It's good to internet meet you, and
yeah, totally. And then keep in touch, and then I'll hit you up every once in a while and find out what's going on. Or if you got something going on, make sure you hit me up with it so I can put it on the podcast and promote it.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, I'll definitely stay in good touch, and thanks for giving me the time and the opportunity to announce our upcoming Austin branch.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you later.
Yo, you have a great weekend.
Okay, you do the same, man. All right. Bye-bye. Later.
It's him! Satan! Raise your hands! It's Satan! The
The Eagle's Nest with Gary Greenwald. This unique program combines the dynamic ministry of God's Word, the discussion of contemporary issues, and the demonstration of God's power.
Let's talk about some of the more innocuous things that are on the market that are leading into these things. What could we call something like Smurfs? Is there anything occultic or dangerous about Smurfs?
Well, Smurfs happens to be the most popular Saturday morning cartoon since the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner hour. It's just entered into a long-term run, and it's hit an hour and a half on Saturday morning cartoons. But there are some things about Smurfs that we need to look at. First of all, you'll notice that they're depicted as blue with black lips.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you know what happens to you when you die? You turn blue and your lips turn black.
In other words, these are depictive of dead creatures.
Right. And another thing is that Smurfs is an all-male community. And you say, oh, there's Smurfette. She's a female. Well, in one cartoon, she was depicted as transforming from a male to a female through magical power. And so the only female in the Smurfs is transformed from a male. She was not born a female.
No, what you're telling me then is that even Smurfs carry a homosexual connotation in that most of them are male.
I believe so.
But we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are leading that direction.
Well, let's take another look at Smurfs. Because the Smurfs cartoon, the whole storyline is that the Smurfs get in trouble. And every time they get in trouble, they run to Papa Smurf, who whips up a spell or an incantation to get them out. In fact, he's said the name Beelzebub numerous times in the cartoon, and he whips up this spell or incantation and draws them out of their problems through witchcraft. And then they have an enemy called Gargamel. Now Gargamel, in a recent episode, I saw him draw a 5-pointed star, the pentagram, on the ground.
Right.
He lit candles at each point, which is an actual witchcraft practice. He started to dance inside the pentagram, chanting a magical chant. At that point, a book opened up across the room, and something left the book and entered his physical body, giving him power to levitate and to do battle against the Smurfs.
Oh no. So we can say that Smurfs has gone occultic.
Very much so.
Well, how about something innocuous like the Care Bears? Aren't they very popular?
Well, Care Bears is very popular, and it was started by Hallmark Cards as a very innocent thing, and then they've licensed out, and some things have taken place in Care Bears that need to be talked about. And one of those things took place in the Care Bear movie.
If we could look at some slides of the Care Bears, maybe we could get an idea what we're talking about.
Now this is in the Care Bear movie. Now the little boy is an orphan, and he kind of goes to this circus, and he's being real mistreated, and he walks over to this table, and this book, a face comes out of it and calls him over and tempts him to open the book.
Right.
And he opens it up, and the face starts to talk to him and starts to teach him how to practice the occult.
In a Care Bear comic book?
Yes. And then he tries to go against the book, and again you see the face coming out of the book. The occult book talks to him, guides him, leads him. You see him here looking over a cauldron, and what he's looking over the cauldron, he's looking to see the children and see what they're doing. And at the end, the Care Bears, to take care of their problems, use the Care Bear stare, which is a power beam coming from the center of their stomach. Now what I'm seeing in Care Bears is almost like they're setting up their own religion, that children are to tell these Care Bears their problems instead of telling their God or mom and dad, and they're to depend on the Care Bears to take away all their troubles. And then we see the occult coming into the cartoon series.
And so we're looking at total occultism, paganism, that's being taught to our children through these little innocuous cartoons. Now, go ahead.
In fact, one of the most innocent, if you could pick up that pony there,
yeah,
is one called My Pony.
This is My Pony.
Yeah. Now, if you walk through a toy store, and you walk into that toy store and you see these ponies, oh, they're cute. They're blue and they're purple and they're pastel colors, and they're different ponies, and you notice they have like a rainbow colored in their hair, and they're just so cute.
Now wait a minute, this is not a pony though, this is a unicorn.
Right, a unicorn. And the unicorn and Pegasus are used in this My Pony series, and a combination of the two. Now both of those things came from mythologies. The Pegasus came from Greek mythology, and the unicorn came out of the Black Forest of Germany, and from that area and through the Dark Ages. Now in one of the cartoons that featured My Pony, now this is supposed to be super cute, okay, for little girls, we saw a Pan, which is a half man, half horse. He had horns coming out the side of his head, a huge thing, with an amulet around his neck, who kidnapped 3 of the ponies, and he's going to transform them to pull his chariot of darkness. And he takes open a bag and he says, "Look into evil." And out of that bag rushes a spirit power which transforms these 3 ponies into dragons. Now this is aimed at little girls and boys.
I can see that we're actually destroying our children by letting them watch even the innocuous things, because they're all going that direction. Yeah. How about Rainbow Bright? This is another figure that a lot of children are into.
Again, Rainbow Bright is a very humanistic type toy. it displays many humanistic and New Age symbols within it. They also do use magic inside Rainbow Bright.
Well, here's a Rainbow Bright cereal box, and I mean, what are you saying about Rainbow Bright?
Again, it's a humanistic emblems and humanistic value system.
Well, the rainbow represents the networking of the New Age.
Right.
And it's interesting that she has a little 5-sided star on her cheek. I don't know if you can see that on the box, but there's a little 5-sided star, and it's upside down, which I'm not going to say it's used in this depiction, but that's a pentagram again.
Yes.
And that's another New Age and occultic symbol. So we have to be careful even with Rainbow Bright.
Yeah, and the cute toys need to be looked at too. We need to use discretion when we buy toys for our children.
I think I'd like to wrap up this little, whatever it was those guys were doing by saying that, what the fuck, there's not supposed to be any bad guys in any cartoons? Can you imagine what kind of cartoons this guy would come up with? The guy who has a problem with Smurfs and Rainbow Bright and fucking My Little Pony? Well, I wonder what kind of cartoons he recommends. They never say anything about what kind of cartoons are okay to watch. They just say, watch out for cartoons because they're going to steal your kid's soul and take him to hell and he's going to burn forever and fuck you. I don't know what's going on with that. But I think it's kind of weird. And I thought you might think it was weird too. And I'm happy to bring this weirdness to you so we could share it together today. Hopefully both those guys have gotten hit by buses since that broadcast was recorded. Or walked in front of one, or a train, or plane, or automobile.
And now, more modern Satanism. You are listening to Modern Satanism.
Remember the, quote, group of Satanists calling themselves the Satanic Temple?
The Satanic Temple. Why do you talk like that, Mark?
Baphomet statue that they plan to put outside the Capitol building in Oklahoma City. Well, they're supposedly expanding 15 new chapters of the Satanic Temple.
Satanic Temple.
America.
Why do you talk like that, Mark?
The second chapter in Detroit. Let's talk about this.
Why is Mark talking like he got something up his butt?
Which, by the way, is really just an anti-Christian bigot.
Bigots, yes, bigots and trolls.
Headed up by one Doug Messner, went by the pseudonym, or still goes by the pseudonym of Lucian Greaves, who's based out of New York, who was the man behind the trolling of the mainstream media and raising enough money to build his Baphomet statue. And so one of his little fans in Detroit, pictured here, is now opening a, quote, Satanic Temple chapter in Detroit. The, quote, new religious group aims to bring the devil to Detroit.
Yeah.
The Satanic Temple.
Satanic Temple. Say it right, Mark.
Atheistic Satanist group. Really, in my opinion, a Christian-hating, anti-Christian, bigot bunch of losers. I mean, really, it's if you're there's plenty of atheist groups out there, but a lot of the Christian haters like to adopt the symbol of Satan
Why is that, Mark?
mock and to smear and to blaspheme Christianity.
Yes,
one of
we do
Doug
like to do that. So what?
Lucian Greaves fans, pictured here, wearing
I don't know why Mark talks like that.
Again, this anti-Christian bigotry is tolerated. I mean, could you imagine?
That's right, it's tolerated.
Wearing like a swastika or like a Star of David with a circle and a cross
not the
through
same
it. I mean, their
Mark.
career would be ended. But you're a Satanist, or you just hate Christians. You get a promotion in today's society.
Free promotion by you too, Mark.
Doug Messner, Lucian Greaves. Troll Fest continues. If you read this article in the Detroit Free Press, of course, they don't have a temple, and they are just an atheistic philosophy. Now,
just an atheistic philosophy. Just reality. Just reality, Mark.
And Doug Messner, too, is modeled after the Church of Satan.
No.
Started by Anton LaVey, who, in his authorized biography,
why are we talking about Anton now?
A book that I own that I've read many times. You can understand what an evil, demonic scumbag he was. And despite claiming to be an atheist, despite claiming that he didn't literally believe in a fitting God or in a figure
Satanic Temple,
of Satan, Anton LaVey, whose real name, by the way, was Howard Levy. He took the name Anton after Anton
the video is
Mesmer,
called The Truth Behind
the
the
guy
Satanic
who
Temple
sort of
Exposed.
discovered hypnosis. Called
15 new
mesmerism
chapters
back
opening
then,
across
after
America.
The name Anton Mesmer.
What's
so
exposing? What's exposed?
Howard Levy changed his name.
Why does he talk like that?
Anton LaVey, and then started the Church of Satan
really
again, which was an atheistic Satanist group. Now there is there are plenty of theistic Satanists out there who believe in the literal, Satan and God.
Oh, like
Rapasnik. They're becoming gods through the secret gnosis.
More on number 2.
By the devil.
Or maybe he's number 1. You guys will have to have a contest.
These Satanists, including the Satanic Temple.
Oh, God. Why does he keep doing that?
In my opinion, just the atheistic
These
losers.
bigots, bigot haters.
Trolls. The Satanic Temple in my mother's basement. But anyway,
your mother has a Satanic Temple in her basement?
Anton LaVey, Howard Levy.
At least she did one thing right.
Was such a scumbag and a hypocrite. He actually prayed to a figurative, literal, supernatural being, Satan, when his girlfriend Jane Manfield's son was injured, and they had a seance to Satan
Mark Dice
to try to invoke a supernatural blessing.
Mark Dice is the author of several popular books on secret societies and conspiracies.
But of course, we're talking about a hypocritical
including the Illuminati, fact fiction, Big Brother, William Nightmare, and other bullshit that's not true.
That's right. He had
he enjoys causing trouble for the New World Order. Yeah, I'm sure they're very, very scared of this guy.
And
pointing out Big Brother's prying eyes. But he can't stay on top of it.
House, which was where the church, quote, church.
Because he's talking about the Church of Satan now. And I don't know.
So, at least at this point in history,
it's not the same thing, but I guess he doesn't
Temple.
get it. There we go.
It really consists of being in a bunch of anti-Christian bigots.
Anti-Christian bigots, yes. Define what bigot is, Mark.
No facility or anything like that. They might be able to raise enough money to fund it in maybe a few cities, but they need to be called out for what they are. They're anti-Christian bigots. Their entire stance is just to oppose Christianity.
That's
which
not
is
the entire
clear
thing,
by
but
this
I guess I
fan
don't
wearing
expect
an
you to really
upside-down
get it.
crucifix.
So it's okay.
It's clearly a satanic symbol.
Yes, the upside-down crucifix. Yes. Also, let me see.
Which is why the upside-down pentagram.
Let me see. Who is it that gives a speech for the upside-down cross behind him? The Pope?
The most popular satanic symbol. Maybe Baphomet being the second. Because the star was a symbol of the divine and et cetera,
yeah. We all know stars are all wonderful.
So
it's like we've been watching too many Disney movies.
I'm going to put it upside down, and it's going to symbolize the dark forces. So the Troll Fest continues by Doug.
I still don't get why Mark Dice talks like that.
Check out some of my previous videos on Howard Levy and the Church of Satan and hypocrisy.
No. The Church of Satan doesn't have anything to do with this. The Church of Satan doesn't do anything. They even will tell you. They don't want anything to do with the Satanic Temple, Mark. Come on, get it right.
Power to curse people, but he actually thought that he had that power.
Yeah. We'll keep on going on about this. Dude, you can't even stay on topic.
He actually thought that he had the ability to make things move and disappear with his mind, etc., etc.
Yeah. The reason you're listening to this is it's an example of Mark's IQ, I guess, and his ability to comprehend or to retain knowledge.
When you hear about the Satanic Temple,
there you go.
Coming
There's a good
to
example.
A neighborhood near you,
just
understand that it's just little fanboys and fangirls of Doug Messner who have decided to start a Facebook page for the Satanic Temple in Detroit.
And it makes national news, and Mark doesn't. He's
pretty much the news for now. So they must be just denounced and exposed for the, bigots that they are.
Christian
really.
bigots,
I don't really how else
because we don't let Christians do whatever they want, Mark.
For your atheist group is to claim to be religious when you just you adopt a symbol of Satan, the enemy of Christianity, and then just your sole purpose is to eradicate and blaspheme and mock Christians.
Yeah, well, Christians kind of deserve it.
The Satanic Temple will build its first chapter house in Detroit. Right. So they're planning. So they're trying. They may get the funding. And so many people hate Christianity and hate Jesus, hate the truth, hate God that they very well may raise enough money to, for a few months at least, rent out or just maybe rent some small, cheap little retail spot to, hold
like thousands of churches do across the country.
Their little atheistic meetings just to play Satan. But that's the truth behind the Satanic Temple.
Wow! Thanks for the truth.
Thanks
Mark.
for watching.
Thanks for the truth, Mark. It's been very enlightening.
Check out some of the previous videos.
No,
and the playlists.
Thank you, Mark. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Stay tuned. There's more.
But what I have done is I've invited Mark Dice to come on the podcast and talk and explain his definition of bigot. And we'll see if Mark takes me up on that or not. I don't know. Somehow I don't think he's gonna, but I wish he would, because I'd love for him to explain some of this things that he says, like the Statue of Liberty being satanic too. I mean, Mark seems a little paranoid, maybe. Mark Dice is a little creepy and a little wacko, and I don't think he's really believes in this shit he's selling. I think he just likes to hear his own voice and talk like this. Why do I get this creepy feeling that Mark Dice is probably grabbing his dick every time he does that? The Satanic Temple? Ew. God, Mark, quit it. Jesus, find a woman. Or a man. Find somebody to love, Mark. And now, Modern Satanism brings you Mark Dice Exposed. That's right, Mark Dice is exposed for what he really is. Mark Dice is part of the system. For example, the name Mark, representative of the mark of the beast. Dice, the letters standing for D as in devil, I as in is, C as in coming, E as in everyone. What do you get? The beast. The devil is coming, everyone. Mark Dice, the beast. The devil is coming, everyone. Mark Dice, you're exposed. We know what you are. Admit it. Mark Dice is the real devil. Mark Dice is the real beast. And he's coming, everyone. Why else would someone name themselves something as stupid as Mark Dice? What more proof do you need? Watch out for the Mark Dice. Knowledge is power. Now you have knowledge. Mark Dice. Use that power. Stop the system. Mark Dice. No one wants to play with Mark Dice, do they? Mark Dice, you're exposed. No. Now go get a new name. Mark Dice is part of the system. The system. The system. The system. The system. Why else would someone name themselves something as stupid as Mark Dice?
Modern Satanism. Call it Satan's masterstroke of genius.
The privately funded Ten Commandments monument on the grounds of the Oklahoma Capitol does not violate the state constitution and can stay there. An Oklahoma County judge said Friday in a ruling that attorneys who filed the lawsuit vowed to appeal to the state Supreme Court. District Judge Thomas Prince granted a motion filed on behalf of the Oklahoma Capitol Preservation Commission to block the lawsuit from going to trial. The 6-foot-tall granite monument was authorized by the legislature in 2009 and was erected in 2012 after Republican State Representative Mike Ritz and his family paid nearly $10,000 for it, and it was misspelled. The monument's placement has led others to seek their own on the Capitol grounds, including a satanic group, the Satanic Temple, that earlier this year unveiled designs for a 7-foot-tall statue of Baphomet. The American Civil Liberties Union filed the suit on behalf of the Reverend Bruce Prescott of Norman, a Baptist minister, and others who alleged the monument's location violated the state's constitution ban against using public property to support any sect, church, denomination, or system of religion. Prince disagreed, ruling that the monument serves a secular, not religious purpose and occupies a small plot on the north side of the Capitol that's part of a 100-acre complex which has 51 other monuments. The ruling was praised by Attorney General Scott Pruitt and others who support the monument. The Ten Commandments monument on the Oklahoma Capitol grounds is constitutional because its historical value, Pruitt said in a statement. He also said the U.S. Supreme Court in June 2005 ruled that a nearly identical monument at the Texas State Capitol was constitutional. Bradley Henderson, legal director of the ACLU of Oklahoma, said he'll appeal Friday's decision to the state Supreme Court. He said the plaintiffs don't want the monument removed because it's offensive, but because they feel the Ten Commandments are being used for political purposes. Everyone involved knew today wasn't going to be the last word on the case, said Ryan Kessel, ACLU of Oklahoma's executive director. While this lawsuit is pending, the Preservation Commission is not accepting applications for other monuments, though requests have been made from a Hindu leader in Nevada, the Satirical Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and a group seeking to erect a monument to the U.S. Bill of Rights. A second lawsuit challenging the Ten Commandments monument was filed in federal court in January by a New Jersey-based nonprofit group, American Atheists, Inc., and 2 of its members. The case is scheduled for trial on March 10th. The plot thickens. The Satanic Temple responded to a Florida school board and a judge's decision allowing the dissemination of religious materials in public schools by distributing its own satanic literature to Orange County classrooms. In response to a recent school board decision in Orange County, Florida that allows for the dissemination of religious materials in public schools. The Satanic Temple will begin distributing educational religious materials to students, reads a statement from the group. The Satanic Temple describes itself as a group that facilitates the communication and mobilization of politically aware Satanists, secularists, and advocates for individual liberty. Earlier this month, a judge dismissed a Freedom from Religion Foundation lawsuit against the Orange County School District seeking to overturn a school board decision allowing this dissemination of religious material in public schools, a move viewed as a blatant breach of the separation between church and state. The ruling also left open the option that if Christian groups can disseminate literature, atheist groups will have the same right. But before the dispute could be taken to court, the school board agreed to allow an atheist group to distribute all of its pamphlets after first rejecting literature with titles such as Jesus is Dead and Why I Am Not a Muslim, because they would cause too much disruption. The group is still appealing the case because there's no policy right now to ensure the school board won't discriminate against minority opinions in similar cases. The Satanic Temple seeks to ensure that pluralism is respected wherever the church-state division is breached, reads a press release from the group. The provided activity books flooding the Orange County schools include that of the pamphlet entitled The Satanic Children's Big Book of Activities, which features activities based around the exploits of the cartoon character Damien. A word scramble activity direction reads, "These bullies are mad and afraid of things they don't understand. Help Damien use inclusive language to diffuse the situation." Another connect the dot description reads, "Damien is showing his class the way to make an inverted pentagram. Connect the dots to make one yourself," which is fucking genius. The word search and word jumble ask the participant to find the words such as friendship, compassion, acceptance, empathy, reason, and freedom. Hey, you gave away the answers. The Satanic Temple spokesperson, Lucian Greaves, explained the situation in a September 15th statement. "We would never seek to establish a precedent of disseminating our religious materials in public schools because we believe our constitutional values are better served by respecting a strong separation of church and state. However, if a public school board is going to allow religious pamphlets and full Bibles to be distributed to students, as in the case in Orange County, Florida, we think the responsible thing to do is to ensure the students are given access to a variety of differing religious opinions, as opposed to standing idly while one religious voice dominates the discourse and delivers propaganda to our youth." Makes sense to me. That's going to bring us to the end of the podcast. I'd like to thank Hunter for hanging out with me and giving me the scoop on the Austin chapter of the Satanic Temple. He's got a Facebook page up now too. So I would suggest you go to Facebook and search the Satanic Temple Austin chapter. Also, don't forget to go to thesatanictemple.com, check out the website, find out what the Satanic Temple is all about, and learn about Satanism. There are many forms of Satanism, so make sure you check out all of them and find out which one is best suited to your views. And I would encourage you to avoid anything that involves fantasy or things that cannot be shown as true, or anything that's harmful to other living things or causes harm to others. I'd like to thank Monika once again for her contribution to the podcast, and I hope she passes all her courses and her exams flying colors. You can find Modern Satanism at modernsatanism.net. Feel free to support the show if you so choose, and I would encourage you to share the podcast with other Satanists and other people who aren't Satanists because they need it the most. I've been Reap. I've been your host. I will be your host again. I'll leave you with this. Hail Satan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. Tonight's performance is brought to you by the Modern Satanism podcast. And I'd like to introduce our special guest comedian for the evening. It's the man from Hades, the man with the pitchfork and the forked tongue. None other than Lucifer himself. All hail Satan.
Well, thank you for that warm welcome. Being from hell, I enjoy warm welcomes, you know. Is that cliche? It's good to be on the road again. It's good to be on the road. You know, the best thing I like about the road is the forks in the road. You get that. Pitchfork Road. So, a guy named Wilson runs a nail factory. He decides his business needs a bit of advertising. He has a chat with a friend who works in marketing, and he offers to make a television ad for Wilson's nails. Give me a week, says his friend, and I'll be back with an ad you can show. So a week goes by, the marketing executive comes and sees Wilson. He plays a video for him. The video shows a Roman soldier busy nailing Jesus to a cross. He turns to face the camera and says with a grin, "Use Wilson's nails, they'll hold anything." Wilson goes mad, shouting, "What's the matter with you? They'll never show that on television." Give it another try, but no more Romans crucifying Jesus. Another week goes by. The marketing guy comes back to see Wilson with another video. He plays it, and this time it shows the camera panning out from a Roman soldier standing with his arms folded to show Jesus on the cross. The Roman looks up and says, "Wilson's nails, they'll hold anything." Wilson goes crazy. You don't understand. I don't want anything with Jesus on the cross. Now listen, I'll give you one last chance. Come back in a week with an advertisement I can broadcast. A week passes, and Wilson waits impatiently. Marketing executive shows up, plays the new video. It shows a naked man with long hair, gasping for breath, running across the field. About a dozen Roman soldiers come over the hill, hot on his trail. One of them turns to the camera and says, "If only we had used Wilson's nails." I like that executive. We hang on a lot. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. So, what do you call a nun in a wheelchair? Virgin Mobile.
Get off the stage, boo.
What? Who's...
Get off the stage. You're not even a...
Peter Gilmore, is that you?
You're not a Satanist.
Peter, I've told you a million times. I am true, a real Satanist.
Anton.
Peter,
you're not a real
had this discussion.
Satanist.
You don't define Satanism, okay? Quit interrupting my show.
Boo. Boo.
Mother Superior tells two nuns they have to paint their room without getting any paint on their clothes. So one nun suggests to the other, "Hey, let's take off all our clothes and fold them up and lock the door." So they do this. They begin painting the room. Soon they hear a knock at the door. They ask, "Who is it?" "Blind man," voice says. The nuns look at each other, and one nun says, "He's blind, he can't see. What could it hurt?" So they let him in. The blind man walks in and says, "Hey, nice tits. Where do you want me to hang the blinds?" Who doesn't love a nun with nice tits, right? Here's the top 10 reasons that beer is better than Jesus. Number 10, no one will kill you for not drinking beer. Number 9, beer doesn't tell you how to have sex. I hate that. Number 8, they don't force beer on minors who can't think for themselves. You hear that, Christians? 7, beer has never caused a major war. Neither have I. Number 6, when you have a beer, you don't knock on people's doors trying to give it away. You drink that shit. 5, nobody has ever been burned at the stake or hanged or tortured over a beer. 4, you don't have to wait 2,000 years for a second beer. And Jesus sees means you hang it, didn't he? Number 3, there are laws saying beer labels can't lie to you. I'm not saying that Jesus lies, but he kind of doesn't exist, so, you know, you be the judge. Number 2, you can prove you have a beer. Number 1, if you are devoted to beer, there are groups who can help you stop. Hello, I'm Satan, and I'm a Jesus-aholic. Not really. I want to thank y'all for coming out to see me tonight. Been good. Been fun. Hasn't been good fun though. See you, Nelson.